Everything you need to know before the Outlander Blood of My Blood finale, which airs tomorrow, the 10th episode. And I'm ready for it. Let's get into it. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, apply that. Love upon it, give along, leave it. I don't want no trip, baby, my name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? I started covering Outlander Blood of My Blood at the beginning of the season, and we walked away from it because it wasn't resonating, I don't believe, but I saw the comments from a couple of you guys saying you love these reviews and you wanted me to come back and talk about it, so I did want to do it service, and I will be covering the finale, but before that, I thought we need to catch up on everything you need to know before tomorrow's episode. So let's get right into it. The first thing you need to know is that we are dealing with two timelines, right? We're dealing with, I want to say the early 1900s vibes on one side, and we're dealing with the 18th century Scotland on the other side. We have Brian and Ellen, who are Jamie's parents, which from the OG Outlander, and then we have Julia and Henry Beecham, who were the ones that time traveled back to the Scottish Highlands. And so we're dealing with that. Both explore love and forever and basically forbidden situation, right? For both of them. Next major thing you need to know about is the power vacuum, especially of Clan Mackenzie. But I'd say it goes for Clan Grant, for Lord Forehead, for all of them, and that is your legacy. Who is going to be your heir? Who's going to carry on your name? But the biggest demonstration that we see from this is for Clan Mackenzie, because Red Jacob dies, who's their laird, and now the power dynamic has completely shifted and we need new leadership. And we need it fairly quickly because there's always somebody out there who will contest the power, right? So we have two brothers. Colum is the oldest, but he's got a malady. And then we also have Dougal, who is more volatile, I'll say. And so we have to figure out a plan. Ellen, right, the daughter of the Mackenzie clan and the smart one apparently, says, why don't we piecemeal this? Why don't you be the laird, Colum, because you've got the mind for that. And Dougal, why don't you be the war chieftain? And you guys will rule in tandem. You guys will rotate based on what the needs are for the clan. And that actually worked for them. And so now we have that. But still, the clan in and of itself isn't safe because of that. Because we have all of these other clans who are really vying for power, and also another political thing going on as it relates to King that they get into in the later episodes. Now, forbidden love exposed. Brian and Ellen, ever since you saw him throw that axe, it's been up and it's been stuck. She wants him in the woods. She wants him wherever. They have a full little marriage ceremony, and he knocks her down. He knocks it down, knocks them walls down. All right. And not really thinking, I don't think about the consequences, because at this point, she is already betrothed to the Grants. Now, with that being said, and the fact that Brian is the bastard son of Lord Forehead, who's got a forever vendetta, her virtue is called into question. We have to endure and witness an entire purity test that Julia has to help her, because ultimately, while all this is going on, Henry's still looking for his Julia, and Julia is doing whatever she needs to do to survive for she and her unborn baby. If that means sleeping with and marrying Lord Forehead, that's exactly what she's going to do. And it just so happens that the odds have been in her favor. The soothsayer, the witch that Lord Forehead hires, says, listen, the baby she's about to give birth to is going to be something special. He's going to be the leader of everything, and we have to figure that out. So we've got all of these power dynamics at play. Malcolm Grant, while docile, I do think has a mean streak, and his father definitely had one. Henry finds work with the family, but shortly after, the laird, the elder Grant, passes away, leaving Malcolm in a precarious situation because now he's getting married. They've tested the virtue, but also he's got to rule his lands, right? And so now we have the forbidden love exposed. Brian and Ellen's secret courtship is uncovered, and Colum's not having it. I'll have him taken out. And Ellen is like, listen, you do that and you'll never get anything you want from me. Meanwhile, she's also being threatened by Malcolm's uncle, who says, baby, if you break my nephew's heart, I'll slice your throat. it is what it is, but they're found out. And I think, well, I know that that's not it, because later we actually see the next point, an attempt on Brian's life, all about this relationship. Now, Ellen does try to brutally rebuff him. This was nothing. I don't want you. I don't need you, in order to save his life. Ultimately, it's Murtaugh who comes through the clutch, because Murtaugh loved Ellen. This was his dream girl. And the fact that Brian betted her and all of those things sent him up in a tailwind. But at the end of the day, he says, listen, I'm not going to let anybody else take you out. If anybody's going to take you out, it's going to be me. So we see that friendship tested and the bounds of loyalty. Column's discovery, of course, of Ellen's secret forces him to choose between blood and loyalty. Again, once he sends that threat, Ellen does what needs to be done, because she knows the ruthlessness of her brother and does what needs to be done. Again, she says that if you do anything, it's over. Mind you, Ellen is the one who nursed him back to health, who's always been his ride or die, and he's forgotten that in his vie for power. Murtaugh again steps up as Brian's protector and secret weapon, and his willingness to defy orders could tilt the balance of power. What will Murtaugh do long term? I know you OG Outlanders know, so don't put it in the comments, but I love the dynamic in the friendship, and I think it goes beyond, right? It's not as simple as jealousy or you took my girl. At the end of the day, I think Murtaugh and Brian are more like brothers, and I love that for them. Next, we have Henry and Julia and their plan, because they reconnect, and she says, listen, I did what I had to do. Brian comes in and he fills in the gaps for Henry and is like, listen, my father's hell. She did what she had to do to protect this baby. And so they're going to have to be spirited away. Is it going to work? I don't know. I'm hoping we get to see that in the finale, but it has yet to be seen. Now, for all of the little Brown the Fire games, Celtic games, Scottish games that they did, Ellen and Malcolm still aren't married. She puts on a brave face anytime she's around him, and I think she's going to do what needs to be done. Her survival depends on it, but Brian's not going to go down this easy. The other question is Ellen already pregnant? That's what I want to know, because listen, the seeds were sown and fertilized. So I'm really curious, because she'll have to pull a Julia and bed Malcolm the first night that they're married to make sure that this goes. But the questions that the finale has to answer: will Brian survive? And who actually ordered the hit? Column said he didn't. Was it the uncle from the Grants? That's my risk. That's my thought. Will Ellen risk everything for love or surrender to duty? She's going to do what needs to be done, in my opinion. That's what I think. Can Julia and Henry escape with their child intact? I don't think so. I think maybe they get away, but that baby stays. The baby stays. Lord Forehead is not going out without a fight. Even though he was rebuffed at Rob Roy's impromptu meeting, you're a lunatic, and no one thinks this little baby's going to be anything. I think he's still holding on to hope. He said he got his prophecy, and he's sticking beside it. And ultimately, who's going to pay the ultimate price for protecting clan and family? Is someone going to be in the next episode? Questions that need answers. But in a nutshell, that's what's happened up to this point. Go back. I'm going to drop all of my videos for Outlander Blood of My Blood in the description. Let me know, and I will see y'all in the next video. Oh, no, be sure to comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do all those things first, and I will see y'all in the next video.